very good social game, but I tend to keep it more on the quiet side and stick to my alliances because I love to stir the pot. And like ever since I said for the interview that I'm a sneaky player, and you should kind of be scared of that. I am a sneaky player. I like to do things kind of behind people's back. Not always, especially if I trust them a lot. But I mean, I'm gonna do whatever I can to win this game.
I've stayed true, been trustworthy. I've, trusted them, and I really just feel like I've played the game the right way. I mean, I found my alliance. I remember in Ethan's exit interview back in, when was this? Week 3, he said, any advice for the rest of the people in the game? And he said, find an alliance, 2-3 people that you can trust and stick with until the end. And, I really took that advice and I took it to heart, and I got my 2-3 people and, rode it out to the end. So I'm happy with where I'm at, but not satisfied until the job's done.
So it was truly everyone for themselves, walking in day 1, being put on our tribes, and I was put on an all-girls tribe, which usually I am pretty good, like, working with the girls and everything, but, it was scary because it was pretty obvious there were definitely less girls in the competition than there were guys, and I knew later down the line, in true Survivor fashion, we'd have tribe swaps and we'd have them merge and everything, and, not really sure how the numbers would work out. I had to adapt and continue working and start making those connections with the guys, even just talking, saying hello night 1 before we truly knew who everyone else was. I think I've had a stronger social game than a lot of people realize. I really just wanted to make those connections and let people know that trust is a big thing for me. So if you're willing to trust me, I am more than willing to hear you out and possibly trust you. So that was something that I think definitely took me farther in the game than a lot of people were expecting to see me go, just because I was constantly, hearing others out and hearing what they had to say. That doesn't always mean I worked with them and, went along with their plan, but it definitely put me more on the forefront side of things of being in the know, which I think was really nice, because I was able to go into tribals and kind of think about, okay, so-and-so is getting this person's vote, which helped with a lot of the blindside factors, oh, I actually saw that coming.
So my strategy, was to, kind of be a little more quiet, but be friends with everyone, not be loud to have my voice heard, because I didn't want everyone's eyes on me. I wanted everyone to have me there as oh, Katie's in the back, she's my friend. I'd put out some names to people, I'd put it out quietly, I'd put it over text or something right before going into it, and no one ever thought it was me putting names out there, because I wasn't, going around and saying these names to 10 different people. I'd say them to a couple people before, and then we'd go in with the plan and be like, yo. Typically honest all the time, but you gotta know when to have a poker face, and that's something that I really played heavily on. So yeah, I'm honest 80% of the time. So when I'm lying, people don't really know I'm lying. So that played to my advantage a lot during this, because a couple people, Anthony, asked me if I had an idol. I just told him no. He believed me. I felt bad.
I joined Survivor because, I always wanted to get more involved here at Bloomsburg, and this opportunity definitely seemed intriguing to me. It was different than anything I've ever done before. I've never done a game show. This isn't the type of thing I would normally do, but I went out of my comfort zone. I did it. I'm more than happy that I did it. I wouldn't have joined this game if I didn't think I could win. So to say that I'm shocked that I'm in the Final Four, I'm surprised, because the game could have been folded in a lot of different ways. But I expected to get here. This is the ultimate goal.
Going into it, I have loved Survivor my entire life. I grew up watching it with my aunt whenever I was at her house. She would record it and we would binge watch it, and I absolutely loved it. I've always wanted to be on the show since I was young, and I'm a go-getter. When I think of something and I put my mind to it, I'm like, all right, yeah, I'm gonna do that. So when I saw that Survivor was happening, I was like, I have to do this. And you know what? If I make this final, if I win, I'm gonna apply for the real thing. I have started working out a little bit because of this, and You know, I've never felt better. I absolutely love this. I look forward to it every week. This whole journey has been insane. From day 1 to week 10 right now, I mean, I have grown so much. You think you don't have so much to grow, but you really, in that short amount of time, you really grow so much. Especially with an experience like this where you're constantly having to adapt every week, and even just in between the episodes, during the episodes, you would have to adapt to different situations because we would have a merge in the middle of episode 5. So there was a whole nother situation that we had to adapt to, and it's just, the whole Survivor journey has been amazing. I have made so many friends out of it. I absolutely love all of them. It's been amazing.
One thing that I think a lot of people don't know is that my votes weren't always necessarily where you think they were. The first time I truly turned against someone who I was like comfortable with was in week 4 when we were at the rec and we did our second tribe swap. At that point, we went from 4 tribes to 2 tribes. I was definitely outnumbered. We went into a tribe of 9 people. There were 7 guys and 2 girls, which, you know, knowing that there were 2 tribals that night was definitely unsettling. And you know, you hear the conversations after losing that first challenge, knowing we're going to tribal. You hear the conversations and you hear a lot of she's and hers, and it really starts to make you panic a little bit, like, oh my gosh, did I perform the best I could? And knowing that I didn't, I was like, okay, there's no way. So I'm like, okay, who can I talk to? And I think that's when I really started making connections and just kind of proving, like, you know, I have the strength, I have the numbers. But that was also the first time that I turned on one of my allies. I also was able to not really cut any ties with any of the guys, which I think kind of showed that, like, hey, let's talk, I'm willing to work with you here. We ended up at tribal again, and instant panic set in again. I'm not really sure where I was, talking to a lot of people, but I had a lot of people come up to me and just say, like, I want to keep you safe. And I'm like, great, that works for me. Let's talk, who are you thinking? And we were able to blindside Kaden. Not necessarily sure that was my strongest move, just, you know, but he was a strong competitor, so it definitely kind of set the tone of like, hey, I'm here to compete, and at the end of the day, that's what I'm going to continue doing. And then I somehow managed week 5 to get Ozzy to turn on his number 1 at the time, Mark, just by talking and, you know, really putting it all out in the forefront there, which was really interesting. You know, moving forward then, I just kept making moves that I think a lot of people didn't expect. You know, it's bittersweet because I think the girls are absolutely great, but I know they were keeping things behind my back. I know they didn't fully trust me, and I think part of that was the circumstances of what happened in episode 4. No one really saw me flipping, and I flipped. I feel like there are just a bunch of little things that are gonna add up.
Once Lee was out, which I feel bad because I could have played the dice game and I could have saved him. If I rolled the dice 7 times and did not get 7, it would have been a loss for him and then for me because I would have lost my vote next week. So I kind of thought about myself, which I had to. But once he was out, I felt alone because Brady and Marcus were pretty close. Me and Claire, that's when like we started to get a lot closer because I always wanted a girl alliance that like we were super close with. It was gonna be me and Kate, and when she gave me the idol back in episode, I don't know, I was extremely grateful and I knew I could trust her. I mean, I knew she could trust me. I don't know if I could trust her completely, which kind of speaks for itself because she would play her idol for Alyssa. But anyways, once Lee was out, I felt alone, and then me and Alex started talking, and I'm definitely glad that we're together. Also with Claire, because I feel like that's a really strong trio.
That money is going to help me a lot. I'm probably going to end up investing it, you know, in the stock market, you know, make some money. But I mean, winning, honestly, to me, winning would mean a lot. You know, my parents were excited I was doing this. They've been super supportive. Kinzua, you know, they've been out since week 4. It would mean a lot to me if I could, you know, win for them. The roommates, you know, the club baseball team, all the boys, you know, it would really mean a lot to me if I could win, bring this home to everybody. It would prove to me a lot. Last semester was very difficult for me, so I've definitely been getting back on my feet this semester. I think Survivor's helped me a lot with that, you know, remaining consistent every Tuesday. I'm, you know, spending time with, you know, some people that I consider my family at this point. You know, we've gotten very close.
winning Soul Survivor would be insane. Honestly, I'd apply for the real thing. Like, that's my number one reason. I want the credit. I want to win this thing. I want to apply for the real thing. I want to do it. I want this on my resume to go towards the real thing. Like, this is what I want to do. I love this. When I put my mind to something, I do it. And I do it all the way. I put my whole self into it, and I just go for it. It would mean everything to me. It would literally be the absolutely best thing ever. I know there's people who are talking about the money and, you know, what the money would do for them and what they would do with it, and they're playing for the money and stuff, but I mean, you know, $1,000, that's amazing, that's nice. That would help me pay for my rent for my internship this year in Pittsburgh, because that's 4 hours away from where I live. But that's not why I'm doing this. That is not, I am doing this for the game of Survivor. I love Survivor, that is why I'm doing this. So winning this, to me, getting Soul Survivor, this is something I watched growing up. This would be literally the best thing ever.
The whole reason I wanted to do Survivor in the first place, and I really hope I win, is because I love the whole concept of Survivor. Fun fact, I've actually already sent in an audition video for the actual show Survivor. Now obviously I did it right at like the age limit, so they really weren't looking for like 16-year-olds or 17-year-olds, whatever the age limit is there. But if I win Survivor Bloomsburg, I would love to film my actual intro to my newest application to Survivor. That's like a dream of mine, and I know it is so far-fetched, but just something I would love to do. So I'm really, really hoping that the jury can help me achieve that goal. So we'll see, but fingers crossed.
So what I would do with the $1,000 is first pay a little bit of my tuition off, because nobody helps me, it's all on me. That's why I work so freaking much. But also, my brother's going into the Navy. It would be awesome if I could win this and buy him a laptop, because he can only communicate every other Sunday, I think it is. He is my everything. He's been watching this game forever. I mean, since it started, and he's been my biggest supporter. So Ryan, if you're watching this, bro, thank you, and I hope I win this $1,000 to give it to you.